Okay, this is not typically how I record a video, but I have something really important that I want to share with you today. If you want to reinvent yourself, it's going to get worse before it gets better. It's going to hurt before it heals. You're going to make a mess before you can see the message. You're going to feel the friction before you can find the focus. I know I'm sounding extremely cliche right now, I know, but it's the truth. If you want to become something new, old parts of you have to die. Too many people make the mistake of just slathering new paint over the outside, trying to add layers to hide what is underneath and convince the world that they are brand new. But if you want real change, there is a season of pruning and resistance and letting go. It is going to require courage and stick-to-itiveness or perseverance. You're probably going to want to quit before the finish line even comes into view. And to be honest, most of the time, you will never even see a finish line because they don't really exist. You won't actually know how far you've come or how much you've changed until you look back and see what you've left behind. And sometimes when you're stepping into change, you're going to look to your left and to your right, and you're going to feel like nobody is there beside you. Progress and growth can be lonely like that sometimes. And for some of you, you'll have to face the excruciating reality that some of the people that you thought were in your corner don't actually want to see you crawl out of the bucket that you've been living in. They don't want to see you redefine yourself into something that they don't understand or become someone unfamiliar who changes the reflection that they see of themselves when they look at you. But if you are serious about reinventing yourself, you must scratch and scrape and claw off your old scales. You must peel back your layers. You must deconstruct the internal walls that you have built. You must expose yourself to vulnerability. Like the lobster as it molts and breaks free of its old exoskeleton, the old armor that once protected it but now only limits its growth and very survival. Did you know that lobsters are known to eat their old shells? They literally consume their old framework. That they don't run from it, they digest it. It becomes a part of them, but they no longer live inside of it. Or like the caterpillar becoming a butterfly, it must go through the patience and the struggle of emerging from the confines of its cocoon in order to develop the strength in its new wings in order to fly. Or like cleaning out your closet and rearranging and reorganizing, you are always going to make a bigger mess at first. And often, once you get everything pulled out, you start to feel overwhelmed and may even want to quit halfway through. If you want to reinvent yourself, it's no different than these things. It's going to be uncomfortable, but that's okay. It's actually a good sign. If it doesn't feel like it is challenging you, then it's probably not changing you. And the thing is, you can either pick your challenge or your challenge will pick you. And I promise you, when the challenge comes to find you, and it will, but you're not ready for it, you're going to wish that you had done things differently. Don't wait for the dragons, the demons, and the monsters of life to find out where you live and come knocking on your door, making their lairs in your habits, your thoughts, and your actions, threatening your relationships, your family, and your health. No. Go out there and start tracking down the monsters courageously. Face the things that you fear. And I say that as a figure of speech because the greatest enemies that you will ever face are the ones inside of you. And sometimes you'll find those enemies at the tip of your pen, and you'll find yourself writing in their blood before bed. Other times you'll find them at the end of your patience when you feel like you've just had enough and want to throw in the towel. And other times the monsters are waiting inside of that uncomfortable conversation that you have been avoiding. Sometimes you'll find them trying to stop you from getting up and taking action on the things that you have been procrastinating, overwhelming you with stress and anxiety or lulling you back to sleep within your coping mechanisms. Sometimes fighting the monsters is as simple as calling a friend to tell them you love them, or folding the clothes, or buying the flowers, or writing the note. I know this story like the back of my hand. I have written it a few times in my life, and I just want to tell you to not let the shadows creep up on you from behind. Turn and face them, and you will never be blindsided. Have the courage to reinvent yourself, and know that it is going to feel unnatural. Like, it can feel that you are not yourself, like you're an imposter, like you're being exposed as a fraud. Feel that pain and do it anyways, because the pain that you choose will always be more forgiving than the pain that you don't. It is going to get worse before it gets better. And most people give up and quit just before they see the sun come into view.